Hello everyone, welcome to Iracing.com's live and exclusive coverage of the V8 Supercars, to you by Extreme Sim Gear, Direct Clutch Services and V8 Supercar Fan Group. I'm Stephen Sandman Clark, bringing you all the action here on v8sonline, and joining me in the commentary box tonight is Corey Henger. Corey, how you going, mate?
G'day Sam and g'day everyone. Yeah, going good, mate. It's unfortunate that Jay is still a little bit sick, so filling in for him again tonight.
He's got a little bit precious on us the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? He just can't seem to hold his form.
Yeah, well, you know, one day he's good, one day he's sick, so I mean, hopefully it's nothing too serious, but yeah, hopefully he'll be back soon.
Mate, an exciting round for us tonight. We head to Twin Ring Motegi, and the boys have got their work cut out for them. 30 laps.
Yeah, she's a long race, and you know, backing up from that endurance race at Spa, it's you know, it's a real challenge, and I'll tell you what, it's a great little circuit when you're not upside down at turn one.
And joining us for the hot lap tonight is no other than Justin Ruggier. Justin, mate, welcome to v8sonline.
How are we, guys?
Good, buddy, mate. So far, so good. A strong qualifying performance so far through the week. Top of the timesheets. You've got to be pretty happy so far.
Yeah, hopefully we can hold them out. It looks like Madison's done a pretty quick time, so looks like we're going to have to join the next qualifying session before the main race, and hopefully we can edge him out, because it's important and crucial to be in clean air the first couple of laps to sort out, and we'll settle down and get some good race pace happening.
How's your preparation been through the week, mate? You've been on somewhat of a bit of form the last few weeks. You found a bit of pace with the ANZ Falcon, and you know, no doubt you're quite pacey this week. How have you found preparation for Twin Ring?
Actually, unfortunately, we haven't spent a lot of time, but the time that we've had, we've made some improvement to the car and made some different settings elsewhere, so I can get comfortable and drive more consistent. So in this race, it's going to tell, because obviously, you know, some guys have been missing all week, and some guys that hide and don't post their quick lap times to the end. So we'll see how we go, but I do feel good. Car's pretty good, and hopefully we can. We definitely need a win tonight.
Now, before you get underway for our hot lap around Twin Ring, is there any one key to around this racetrack to getting around fast?
Well, you need to be need to keep the car flowing and be very patient with the steering increments. You definitely need to be very deep under brakes as well. So there's a lot of things there, man, that contribute to a good lap time around here. It's no good doing it once. You've got to do it 30 times. So yeah, I'll try and show you a hot lap, but you can judge on that.
You'll do fine, mate. All right, we'll jump on board the ANZ Falcon, mate, as you head under the bridge, and take us for a tour around Twin Ring Motegi.
Here we go. It is a great circuit. It's probably one of my favourites, actually. So just starting to run up now. It's pretty good around here. There's good braking markers around the place that can give you a guide. So okay, feed the throttle nice and gentle through here, and don't smoke it up like that. But anyway, was there any licorice there? Okay, 100 metre mark. Start braking nice and gentle again. Oops. And just feed the throttle nice and gentle. Run third gear out of here. You really need to not let the car slide like I am at the moment, but you've got to hold a button and talk at the same time, so it's a bit difficult. Again, point the car, be patient, squeeze the throttle. Essentially get a good run out of here again, and just keep the car nice and stabilised. Just gently feed the throttle again. I'll go down 2 in here, so back down to third gear, flow the car, set the car pivot, and straight line the steering wheel on the exit. Again, a bit of a heel toe, and settle the car right down under braking, and get the car under the power as quick as possible. Again, there's braking markers here, so just go past 100 and feed the steering in nice and gentle, and squeeze the throttle out once again in second gear. It's very difficult here actually under brakes. It's downhill, very bumpy. It's very easy to lock a brake, and I did that in the first race. It's important you get a good run out of here and stretch second. This is coming to the final combination of turns here for for the flying hot lap. And that's a lap around Motegi. Pretty slow one, actually.
Doesn't matter, mate. You've been quick through the week when it mattered, so that's still not bad, mate. 53.8. I think there's a lot of people out there kill for that time.
It's just a bit hard holding the talk button and driving, but hopefully it gave an insight to the people that need a bit of tips, and maybe I need to learn something too, though.
Hey, mate, your pace has been all right. I think we're in trouble if you start learning a bit more. Now we come into the last lot of qualifying, mate. Do you reckon there's a little bit more left in that Falcon?
Yeah, my Optim's actually a 52.4, so if I can actually just sort of get these corners right, especially at the last sector, to where I'm struggling, it's very hard to sort of get a really good run out of these last sort of hairpins, and it's essentially you brake right and get the car on the power very early. So if I could manage that, maybe I can lower it, but the race pace is what's essential for me, really.
Now, it's a different kettle of fish too. We come to Motegi 30 laps around here. Everyone's going to have their work cut out for them. And how do you feel about the race different distance, mate? Is it it's a bit different than what we're used to? How do you find it? Is it a bit long?
I prefer longer race distances, actually. The longer you go, the more tyre wear, and then more of the driving is required from the driver, obviously, to maximise your consistency. So the longer the better for me. I tend to struggle with the sprint races because not a lot of tyre wear occurs. So the longer the better, and I found it pretty comfortable yesterday. But again, Madison, Muggleton, Maris, Val Riches, these guys are quick.
All right, mate. Well, we're not too far away from that final qualifying session. Best we let you get on with it, mate, and good luck in the next qualifying. We'll no doubt be tuning in, and all the best for tonight's race, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate, and hopefully we can bring home a win.
All right, all the best, mate.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
It's a nice little insight, isn't it, Corey? I don't know how many laps you've managed to put through the week, but Twin Rim Motegi certainly does throw up its fair share of challenges.
Yeah, I've done a few laps here this week earlier, anticipating the race, but it's one of my personal favourites. I mean, it is a really great track. It's nice and wide, got lots of passing opportunities, and it's got some nice flowing corners, and then you've got some dead stop hairpins. So it's a round that I ever since it was introduced to the calendar, I look forward to either commentating or racing it.
Now, someone who's just waddled their way into the commentary box, a fine strapping young man. I haven't done much commentating with you lately. Daniel, mate, how you going, mate?
Good, mate. It's been a while. I was almost going to go old school on us tonight. I was going to jump in the box with you, but I didn't get a chance. Yeah, I'm just here to have a bit of a talk about our other streams that are running. Probably the biggest one that we're running at the moment, in conjunction with Race Centre, which is a massive privilege, is the Race to Reality series, which is a chance to win a race in an Aussie racing car at home, which is every sim racer's dream. I'm sure you'd be interested in that, Sam, man.
Oh, no doubt, mate. It's I was over the moon when I saw this competition put together. The guys at Race Centre have really gone the extra mile and put together this wonderful competition. And yeah, maybe you can let everyone know at home just how they can get involved.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely the biggest thing we've seen in sim racing Australia ever. I can't think of a competition that's been as big as this. So there's a couple of ways you can get in. We're broadcasting the Iracing series every Wednesday night. 20 finalists from that go into one final race to win a seat for the final competition at Race Centre to get a seat to win. And we're going to be doing a competition over the next couple of days for a few seats for v8sonline members, like we have done the last previous weeks. We haven't decided exactly how this competition is going to run yet, but keep an eye out on the Facebook page. We might even see if we can get Sandman in there on a Wednesday night. What else have we got? We can also, for some of the old school sim races, there's a R-Factor League running as well, where you can win yourself a seat to make it into the finals. The other way you can win is to get your button to Race Centre and do fastest lap around Bathurst on soft tyres, and a V8 Supercars, one of them. And I think one guy's done like a 2-minute 6 around there as the fastest lap at the moment. So that's pretty quick on soft tyres. Yeah. We you would be quite familiar with R-Factor V8 Supercar mod, Sandman.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've dabbled in R-Factor, but it's actually a nice little cross-promotion there from Race Centre where you got everyone involved as far as people from R-Factor and, of course, everyone on the iRacing servers. And, of course, if you're not lucky enough to have your own sim or wheel and pedal set at home, you can slip into the race centres. And, I mean, that's brilliant just from the guys where you can actually take part, slip into the race centre there and qualify that way. It's a brilliant initiative. And, mate, I can't say enough for Race Centre for the way they've involved the sim racing community for this opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big plus for them, like to bring the community together, and not just to give seats to Race Centre members. You can actually get one if you're an iRacing driver or if you're an R-Factor guy. So to the iRacing guys, if you definitely want to secure your seat, you can buy a season pass for $50, which will guarantee you a race in the next, I think we've still got another 16 rounds before we get to the final. This week's at Summit Point, which I know Corey's excited about.
Maybe we'll see Corey in there, mate. Corey, you thinking about having a shot?
Yeah, I've had a go at the first few rounds, but still trying to adjust to the car. But Summit Point's track I really love. So it's and it's a great car. I mean, if you've watched any of the broadcasts so far, the racing has been absolutely awesome with some of the faster guys, and the car just likes to move around. And no, it's really fun to drive, and you just got to get in there and have a go. So I'll be in there again trying to get my seat. I think I've had a few bad races so far though, so see if we can turn it around this week.
Beauty. It's always good to have someone waving the flag for v8sonline. That's good, mate. Anything else, Daniel, mate? We're getting busy on v8sonline with the number of different broadcasts we're doing each week.
It's getting quite intense. We're broadcasting 3 times a week now, so we've got v8sonline, which is absolutely brilliant, and it's going really well. Member base is growing. And it's good to see that we're getting a lot of support from people outside of sim racing as well that are really interested in this. V8 Supercar fan group's been a great help for us, helping us grow as well. We've got Race to Reality, which we were just talking about, which is fantastic to be involved with. I'm really was quite pumped when they contacted us, and it's good to see that we're getting recognition outside of iRacing for the work that everyone's putting into v8sonline, and the community's been great, and we've had so much support. And then we thought, well, how do we pay back the community? And the Grand Am series is going now. So we're doing the late race for Grand Am, which has been fantastic. Have you been racing in that, Sandman?
I've dabbled a little bit. I haven't done any of the official online racing, but certainly a brilliant form of racing, and it certainly sort of tapers to a lot of different needs because there's obviously different cars that people can drive. So if you're not too keen on one car, you can switch to the McLarens or the DP. So yeah, brilliant form of racing, but haven't done much of the official stuff.
Maybe we need to get you out there, but it's absolutely fantastic. A lot of people are really enjoying it. It's not the cars, obviously you've still got to be a really good peddler to get up there, but they don't take as much practice as the V8. The V8 guys almost spend a whole week just to be prepared for tonight's race, where this is kind of, you can probably just get in the day before and find your comfortable zone with the car, especially with the McLaren. It really suits a racer because you can just hammer that thing. So it's been really interesting racing, and the series seems to be growing, but if you're kind of dabbling with the V8 and you can't find your groove straight away, definitely come over to the Grand Am series and see if you can make it onto a broadcast, because it's fantastic racing. Jump in the McLaren or jump in the DP. But yeah, there's a few regulars now starting to come over to that one, and don't want to really jinx anything yet, but there might be a look at a NASCAR series, but I'm not going to definitely say that that's going to go ahead, but we are playing with the idea. So if you've got some ideas about NASCAR, feel free to put them on our Facebook wall. Feel free to give us in the iRacing forums or send us an email. If the NASCAR goes ahead, I'm sure Sandman's going to be involved in that one.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hold me back, mate. I do love my oval NASCAR racing. And while we get this opportunity, we're going to wrap things up just in a minute because we've got qualifying in just a few moments' time. But big shout out to everyone at Race Centre too, because they're tuning in each and every week for the V8sonline broadcast. So hello to everyone who's at Race Centre, and a big thank you, obviously, like we've been saying, for putting on that competition. And thanks to you, Daniel, mate. I don't know if you're sticking around for the qualifying, but appreciate the heads up, mate. Certainly some exciting times for sim races all around the world, and mate, I'm excited to be part of it all.
Yeah, definitely. I'm about to go and take up a seat and get ready to watch some qualifying. I'm really excited about Twin Ring. hopefully Jay gets better soon. He's been really sick lately, and he's been missed around here. So hopefully he'll be back and feeling better soon. But while we've got a host of other people. Good to see Corey back in the com box. And yeah, have a good call tonight, guys. And to everyone out there, thanks for supporting us. And yeah, if you get a chance, duck into a race center and see if you can beat a fastest lap. And yeah, let's get going.
Appreciate you stopping by, mate. Certainly exciting. It's going to be great to come home bush when we see maybe a sim racer that we all know quite well to be on the racetrack racing an Aussie racing car. It's certainly exciting. But thanks, Daniel. Hope you enjoy the broadcast, mate, and we'll get to catch up with you a little bit later on.
Definitely. Have a good call tonight, guys.
Cheers, mate. Exciting stuff, isn't it, Corey? I mean, a lot of people think sim racing is just a bit of a computer game, but it's really tapping into the real world when you've got a competition like this that Race Centre's putting on.
Yeah, the Race Centre guys have done a fantastic job to come up with this concept, and like I said, a lot of guys see sim racing as, and more for the people that aren't familiar with it, as sort of a Forza or a Gran Turismo type computer game you jump on and play and have a bit of a crash and bash like you would on the consoles, but I've only been sim racing since early 2008, late 07, and to see how far it's advanced in that short period of time is amazing, and it's only going to go forward. And I think more of these competitions, are going to arise as people see the potential in these sim races.
All right, so we're just getting qualifying underway. This is a 20-minute session, the final qualifying session before we get underway for tonight's Division 1 race. Of course, the guys on track trying to make those last final adjustments and possibly moving up the grid. But it's also interesting that these guys, like we said, 20-minute session. It's 2 minutes plus for a good lap around here. So these guys are going to use up a fair bit of time just on their out lap, just not going too hard looking after the tyres.
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's it's about just under 2 minutes for a fast lap around here. So you're going to be pushing about 2.5 odd minutes, maybe more, depending on how you take your out lap, just for the out lap alone. So it's a bit like Spa. I mean, we're not going to have as many laps as say somewhere like Lime Rock or Brazil, but it's going to be interesting to see if any of these guys can improve their times here, because it's a big long track, and as Justin said, his optimal's pretty quick, so he'll be looking to try and get a little bit closer to that.
We've got in the field, there's 20 odd cars that are on track at the moment, so half the battle is just trying to find a bit of real estate all to yourself and not get caught up in someone else's mess.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the better things about a track like Twin Ring. I mean, later in the season we go to Lime Rock, and I'm predicting that to be pretty short lap, and qualifying is going to be so crucial there, and it's going to be exciting. But here at least, there's a bit more room. But that said, you can give these guys 20 odd kilometres like the Nordschleife, they'll probably still find traffic.
That's right. So the guy on screen, Madison Down, also he's put in a time already, I believe. I haven't got my qualifying sheet in front of me at the moment, but I think he's been one of those drivers that Ruggie was talking about, that a lot of people sort of normally get on through the week and maybe post a time on about a Wednesday or a Thursday, but it hasn't been up until late today that Madison's actually put something down on the timesheets.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting whether he's either, you're his teammates, you might be able to give a bit more insight if he's maybe been doing some offline testing, or, like a lot of other guys at the moment, busy with the real world stuff, work and studies and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's been a bit of a case with everyone at TTR. I can't speak for a lot of the others, but I know myself, unfortunately, I've been caught up with NASCAR commitments and everything else, but so I haven't been able to put in the time. I think everyone's just been busy, like you said, with real-world commitments, whether it be work or university and everything else. So, but anyway, these guys are on track and still about 15 minutes to go in this session, so anything can still happen.
Got Justin. Sorry, Sam, man.
You beat me to it, mate. Go for it.
So we've got Justin on screen here, ANZ Motorsport. Like he's on a hot lap here. He's actually the slowest of the guys on the out laps there too. So tyres hopefully pretty good. I tell you what, he gets a little bit sideways out of there. You're gonna be so smooth on the throttle here, because being such a long lap, if you light them up, it's just gonna absolutely kill you.
Yeah, you lose that net gain at the start. It's hard to make it up, like you said, because it is such a long circuit. And you're on the, pushing the envelope as it is. So once you lose that net gain, sometimes it's just better off just to sometimes pull over and just start again. But he's doing good so far.
His lap's looking pretty smooth. part here. It's a great part of the racetrack. The double left hand, you've got to be so committed around there. I had a lot of problems with understeer there during the week, but it looks like he's got the car, really transferring the weight there really nicely. So comes the line of 152.873.
Yeah, it's been interesting hearing some of the guys chatting about through that final chicane. I mean, some people sort of and ahhing whether they do second gear, third gear. It all depends on car setup and what sort of run you get through the entry of the corner. But it's actually good that there's a couple of people mixing it up as far as, what's the right way and the wrong way to go through there.
Yeah, it also comes down to a bit of driving style. I mean, obviously everyone drives their own way, and I myself like to use second gear just to, try and get the punch out of the corner.
The man on screen, the V8 Supercar fan group Falcon, Sean Kelly, having a red hot go at the moment. It's only posted a 54.381 in this session at the moment, but car's looking okay at the moment.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a better run than last week. Obviously had that unfortunate incident, I think, with Mark Fabian, I think it was, where left his car crabbing out of Eau Rouge. Remember the famous scenes of that car coming down the straight?
Didn't have his work cut out for him. Geez, I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, it's always a shame to see guys get caught up in incidents, although I did gain a spot from last week, so...
A nice bit of brake glow coming into that turn. It's something we've noticed probably since the latest build. Me personally, I probably haven't noticed it as much, but ever since the latest build, I think I seem to notice it more and more each week. It looks great.
Yeah, it's another fantastic graphical addition that iRacing continue to improve, and I'll tell you what though, it just goes to show how hard these drivers are on their brakes throughout the lap, absolutely pushing the limits.
Yeah, there's not usually much left in it when the guys are, trying to take the very latest they can. And there's obviously different people decide to run different, brake settings as far as front to rear. I believe Clayton Brooks on screen. Another one of the ANZ boys. Those ANZ boys are popping up everywhere.
Yeah, there's a few of them in here. A couple of noticeable absences though, with their stars Gisbergen and McLaughlin.
And big shout out to Shane and Scotty too. They obviously had mixed results at the weekend for the New Zealand Super Tourers, but obviously the boys are a bit busy and can't commit to as many races as they'd like, but fingers crossed we'll see them in the not too distant future.
The life of real life race car driver, Ray. Jump in a V8 Supercar, jump in a V8 Super Tourer.
Come home, jump in your iRacing rig. It's not a bad life, is it? So Brooksy on screen hasn't put down much of an outlap at the moment. I think his time is 2:21. That's just a pretty standard outlap, but he's on at the moment. Gets through the final chicane, coming onto the front straight. He'll punch out of time. Just doesn't want to run too wide, because if you get those tyres off onto the grass, you will get an off track, and that will cancel your lap time altogether. But crosses the line with a 1:54.530, and that'll put him 5th on the timesheet here in final qualifying.
Yeah, it's a nice and tidy little lap there from Clayton.
Now, a man that you're pretty familiar with, Corey, Matty Hill on screen, and he's feeling quite comfortable now. He's switched to the track racer Red Falcon. He's ditched the green and feels a bit more comfortable in the red.
Yeah, mate, he's got it all in his head that, red goes faster. And although I think he did prove that at Spa, he was having a fantastic run all race long, and unfortunately got involved in a late race accident. Doing it out there by himself though this week, unfortunately.
He's actually not doing too bad of a job, considering he's fairly new to the iRacing V8 Supercar series, and his pace week in, week out is just getting better and better. So I think him and the whole team would be fairly happy with his pace. He's just come on leaps and bounds, and I think I'd be quite happy if I was sitting in that seat at the moment.
Yeah, he's getting stronger, and as he's told me throughout the week, the more time he spends in his car, he's feeling more confident. He feels like he's getting closer and closer, and he's just got to keep chipping away at it. And we're trying to do things for next season to put in place a strong team to really try and get 4 drivers out there weekly, because that's been one of our things this season with guys sort of taking a sort of semi-break season and racing here and there. He's had to do a few of these races by himself. I think we swap over to one of your teammates now, Sam Man.
Yeah, Lee Ellis, part of the Trans-Tasman Rising Stars program. Lee and I spent a lot of time working on setups and, being part of the Rising Stars team, and, we have quite a close relationship. He's had mixed results. I think he might have come home with a ninth place finish in the earlier race, and he and I both probably struggled a little bit here at Twin Ring Motegi. Haven't quite got the car exactly the way we like it, but I know he did make a couple of changes coming into this qualifying session, so fingers crossed he can improve on his time. I think his fastest time to date is a 1:55 flat, maybe. I haven't got the sheets in front of me, but so fingers crossed. We know there's a little bit more in the car, and hopefully those changes will pay off for him.
Interesting, actually, just watching. I guess you could call his teammate, still part of TTR, Madison Down in the qualifying times, down in 19th rather, I'll get out eventually, at 2:25.433. So still just trying to find a bit of room. He's just over halfway in the session now, so he's running out of time.
So that was Lee on his out lap, and now he'll get underway. So I know Lee was probably a little bit frustrated. I think probably a bit surprised. He probably expected the pace to be there a little bit quicker. I know he also, like we were talking about, people having different commitments. I think he might have been away through the week, so probably didn't get as much time in the cockpit as much as he'd like. But I mean, so far so good. It's looking a little bit moves around a little bit under brakes. As you can see it coming in under the bridge, and I know he's fighting a little bit of understeer in that earlier race, so fingers crossed he's dialed that out. But so far so good. It looks like a reasonably tidy lap so far.
Yeah, it is looking nice and smooth, and that's one of the things, like I said, I tell you what, he got sideways, just as I said, he was smooth there, he's actually killed the lap.
Looks like he may have pinched a little bit of brake there, and that's fired him off, got a little bit sideways. And unfortunately, yeah, that's ruined his lap for him.
Tricky part of the track, that one. I mean, he's coming out of a fifth gear fast right-hander, and then you got to pull it to the right-hand side of the road, and then try and brake for another left-hander, and you got to try and get a nice sort of car balance. And I was struggling there with a bit of understeer this week, and if that's what he's struggling with as well, I know how painful it can be.
So the man on the screen now, Chris Stone, finds himself 9th position in this session so far, fastest time than 55.589.
Looking at the way he's attacking that last corner, assuming nice throws on his out lap. One of the guys seems to be, no, that was his hot lap, 55.281.
Yeah, so he does improve a fraction there.
Powerbond Racing, Robert Hartley now on screen. Unfortunate for Rob last week, myself and Rob got caught up in an incident at Spa, and I think it forced him back in the pack, and eventually he got turned around, so he's hoping probably to have a bit of a better run this week.
Yeah, it's the old adage, isn't it? It's half the battle through the week is just to qualify up front, just to sort of stay out of unfortunate incidents a little bit further down the field. So, but not a bad run so far. What's he done this session? This session he's done a 54.2, third in this session. Different for his overall pace. Have to try and talk to our director and see if he can maybe give us some numbers where Robert Hartley's sitting so far in qualifying. But and he's someone that's probably finding a bit of pace as the weeks go on too.
Yeah, I mean, you see all these guys coming up through the ranks, and it's you can see the guys the ones that put the effort in, and the guys that stay with it week in, week out, they are getting closer. And whilst they're still battling for the same positions, trying to crack up to where the Emersons, the Vale Riches, the Madison Downs, and all that they are getting closer. I think that's one of the main things we've got to keep an eye on.
We're hearing his fastest time for Robert Hartley was a 54.4, so he's actually bettered that. He slipped into the 53.920 on that lap that we watched. So that's a nice little jump there. So well done, Robert Hartley.
Yeah, well, that's going to move him up from 21st to, I believe, inside the top 10, looking at the current times. So a great little jump there for Rob.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that old Madison Down hasn't managed to lay down a time yet. He's obviously just making sure he's finding a bit of track space, like we talked about. With so many cars in the session, it's nice to have a little bit of real estate to yourself, but he's got to get on with it if he wants to put down a time, because we're approaching what about 4 minutes left in this session. So it looks like he's on a bit of an outlap for the moment.
Yeah, he is currently in second place line, 53.0, about 2 or 3 tenths behind Justin. So he has got a time set down there that should put him up on the front row. But I haven't actually had much of a chance to catch up with Madison throughout the week, Sam. And is he still back on the Logitech pedals, or?
I was about to say the same thing. I'm not too sure. I know he did put in an order for some new pedals, and he was hoping they would arrive, I believe, Friday. I think he was hoping they'd arrive. So I haven't actually found out whether they did or not. But fingers crossed. I think if he's got that little bit of pace behind him, then maybe he has got the pedals, because he did say it was a bit of a transition to switch back to the G27s.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think I said it last week how much a brake, and pedals can really like transform the car. It feels like a whole new car just from one little brake pedal. So I recently went from the Logitech to the Thrustmaster, and it's still pretty similar technology there, but it made such a big difference. I can only imagine going from a load cell back to a potentiometer. It's he's got some talent, but that's going to be a challenge for anyone.
Yeah, it's a different kettle of fish when you're so used to using a brake with a load cell. When you go back to the conventional spring type brake that's in a G27, it's certainly something that's you don't get your head round right away.
Rob Hartley and Desmond Hallam now. But these two do this a fair bit actually in qualifying, I noticed. Des likes to just sit in there behind Rob and maybe brake that a little bit later when he's he's behind Rob and see his brake points and get a little bit of draft and hopefully improve his time.
It's actually something that we saw, in past seasons, where we'd see a lot of drivers that would help slingshot their teammates, some down the long straightaways. But it's probably something that's probably disappeared from our racing and qualifying over the last couple of seasons. I don't know if that's just with different changes, the tyre mod and the way the cars behave. I'm not sure, but that used to be a big part of qualifying in seasons gone by.
Yeah, well, I know, when I was loading this car, I sort of did a couple laps behind Hilly, and it helps to sort of just watch where the faster guys brake. And no disrespect to Des, because none of these guys are slow. He's got some pace on board, but Rob's maybe that little bit quicker. And if Des can sit behind and brake that little bit later when he's watching where Rob brakes and watching where Rob turns in and such, it can really help find you a few tenths.
It's exactly right, and we've even got feedback from people who tune into the v8sonline broadcast and just tuning in and seeing different drivers like Justin Ruggie or Madison Down or Richard Hempstead when they come in and do a hot lap. Just little tips that these guys will pick up just watching those laps can be big keys as far as your driver development in this series.
Des is doing a really, really good job at the moment, staying with Rob actually, so I'll be very surprised if it doesn't actually improve his time. And like I said, nothing against Des. You'd have to think that Rob's got those couple of tenths over him at the moment. I think this would really be helping him out here as Rob gets out of the way.
It's probably not a bad move, because it looked like Des was actually getting a nice little gain there as far as the slipstream. So if he can hold it together for these next few laps, his fastest time in this session is a 55.623. So fingers crossed he'll be up. Cut a bit of that curb. I don't know if he's going to get penalised for that.
He's pulled it over.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit too hungry.
A little bit cranky with himself there, I think. That was looking like a really good lap.
And unfortunately he's out of time too, because although there's still just under a minute to go, there's not enough time to get out and start a hot lap, so bad luck there.
Matthew Hill starting his final lap.
Yeah, 30 seconds left under the clock, just under 30 seconds now for final qualifying, so there won't be too many cars that'll actually get one more sneaky hot lap in, but Hilly's on the charge. Actually don't mind the new look with the red. I know I'm so accustomed to seeing green, but actually doesn't look too bad, the old red and black.
It's definitely a nice livery. I mean, it was up to me to still be out there in a green car, but it does work though, and it's good because track racer sort of coming on board more and more prominent, with the Grand Am broadcast as well. So they've stepped up with sponsorship with our team as well. So it is good to see. And if Hilly thinks he's faster with it and he goes fast, that's the main thing. So
it's a nice little mind game. Hey, I think the green didn't work too bad for Diggy Johnson when he was running the green stuff car. So I don't think green's too bad. But hey, if Matty's comfortable in a red and he's pulling results, then that's not too bad either.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, you and Jay. I remember hearing something about me and Sam Collins last week in the green cars, and you know, for me, that's where I'm comfortable. So it's amazing how much a colour can actually affect your driving ability.
Hey, if someone's actually going to put up the sponsorship dollars too, I'll run with a pink and purple polka dot Falcon. I don't mind.
That's it.
So not a bad lap so far for Hilly. Let's see what he can do, put in these last couple of turns. The car looks fairly stable. Sometimes these slow laps can actually be belters, but it can be a little bit misconceiving too. He gets through the final chicane, a little bit squirrely. Gets the power down off the riffle strip. Let's see if he can improve on a 53.9 so far in this session.
54.0. Yeah, that lap looks smooth, but as you said, you know, sometimes smooth is slower, sometimes smooth is faster. He's got a great setup this week too, so I mean, he'll be happy with that. I'm pretty sure he improved his time in the session though, with the 53.9 earlier on.
So we're just waiting for these final cars to cross the finish line as this session draws to a close. We see Madison Downs finally put down a time. He's done a 53.3 in this session. So nothing to worry about though for Madison. Still on the front row with Ruggier at the moment, so he wouldn't be too disheartened about that.
Looks like we have everyone finished our lap now. So the qualifying positions are locked in for the final race coming up soon.
So bear with us for a minute. We'll just wait for these this session to draw to a close, and we'll try and get an updated final qualifying results for you in just a moment. But the fastest driver in this session for the final qualifying of Motegi is Justin Ruggier on a 52.873. Madison Down over Robert Hartley, Matty Hill, Clayton Brooks. So once this session draws to a close, which looks like everyone has finished, we'll wait for an updated qualifying list, and we'll get that to you ASAP. Well, not a bad session, Corey, and a great racetrack too. It certainly has shown some good racing over the last couple of seasons. I think the last time I drove here, I think was in a Grand Am car, or I think it might have even been Race of Champions.
Yeah, it's a fantastic track no matter what car you're driving, and you know, like I said, I really love getting out there and racing here and anything. And I was playing a race this week, but other commitments come up, which means I didn't get to practice that much. But so I didn't have too much luck last time I raced here. I ended up on my roof lap 1, and then had an incident with Hampstead later on. So.
All right, so we'll quickly run through the final qualifying results before we head into the main race. It's Justin Ruggier on pole with a 52.727 over Madison Down with a 53.016. Not a bad margin Justin's got there, a couple of tenths up his sleeve. Third place will go to George Maris, Josh Muggleton in 4th, Var Ritchie's 5th, Michael Fabian 6th, Sean Kelly in 7th, Brad Ryan 8th, Tony Autridge in 9th, and Robert Hartley, a nice little bump up the grid. I think we said he was going to be 21st earlier before that final qualifying session, so nice of Robert to jump into that top 10. So that's it for final qualifying. Stick around and we'll be back in just a few minutes' time where we will have the final race of the Iracing V8 Supercar Series from Twin Rim Motegi, 30 laps. You are watching v8sonline's live and exclusive coverage of the Iracing V8 Supercar Series. We'll be back in just a moment.